It's me, Capri. My mommy is the best. Super mom, love you much. She helps mommy get those smiles back. To get those back. And those back go back. You wait for the straw. Brush. Get ready for that super slowly. That super strong.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Healing for the Soul podcast, sponsored by Robin Stoltman, with this being season number 6, episode number 16. If you are ever looking for a virtual assistant who can edit your social media content, grow your social medias, book your clients, and much more that all businesses require, I highly recommend Sphere Rocket for all your virtual assistant needs. The link to Sphere Rocket is at the bottom of this episode. And before we get started, I am your host, Robin Stoltman, and every week I feature different guests to help you become the best version of yourself through different methods you may not have heard of or thought of. So make sure to subscribe and keep coming back for more. And today I have my guest, Kristine Genovese. She is a transformative force in holistic health, empowering healthcare professionals and healers to reclaim their own well-being while revolutionizing the way they heal others. And today she's talking on the show today about the quantum physics and holistic healing. And of course, her method, soul intelligence, which I'm excited to learn more about. Thank you so much, Kristine, for being here with us today.
Oh, Robin, I'm delighted to be here with you. I love that we are soul sisters in all sense of the word.
We definitely are. That's why I'm like, I was tripping over my words. I'm like, I'm so excited to get into this conversation. I love when I have this type of conversations with other people that just understand all of this.
Well, awesome. Well, where would you like to begin?
Well, I would like to know who or what inspired you to do what you do.
Oh my goodness. Well, everybody has an origin story. Like, how did this happen? And believe it or not, I was a corporate turnaround specialist for most of my life. So I would figure out what people, process, or technology needed to move or shift in order to, improve the business outcomes, right? And, I used to heal broken systems, and now I get to heal broken souls, which is really kind of cool. But I was I'm what you call, I would think, a modern day alchemist, where I took all that corporate lead and I turned it into spiritual gold, I guess. So using that magician energy in the corporate world, and I get to be a healer of the spiritual realm now. But the way it worked was I was actually in my last corporate turnaround, which, I thought was my last corporate turnaround, and I was going to retire from there and all that kind of stuff. When March 12th of 2020 rolled around, I don't know if that's an auspicious date for you, but that's pretty much when we all got the big COVID timeout, right?
Yep.
And I got plucked out of corporate America by the divine and told that, this is no longer for you. Basically, I had never been fired in my life, and I'm in my early 50s at the time, and I'm like, what am I going to do? It's the height of the pandemic. I have no job. My husband at the time was going through a biopsy. Literally, that's where I was, at the doctor's office with him at the time for a prostate, which he did have prostate cancer. I got a call from HR letting me know that my services were no longer needed. And I was like, what? I'm like, I just got a performance bonus. We're making the turn. Everything was going in the right direction. What do you mean? So I texted my boss, the COO at the time, and I said, I just got fired. He goes, me too. I'm like, what? Yeah. So we had prepared the board deck. March 12th was a Thursday. Monday, we were supposed to have a board meeting. And we had showed that had the CEO allowed us to hire the number of people we were asking for in the fourth quarter, not only would we have met the first quarter's numbers, we would have exceeded them. But the CEO wouldn't let us hire enough people. So what he did is he fired the two of us, and then he went on a hiring spree. Said we didn't hire enough people. So he did it to save himself. So talk about corporate espionage, and oh my gosh, get me out of here, right?
Definitely. That's horrible.
I know. Well, karma has a way of playing things out, right? He did get removed from his position. There was a board investigation, and he ran the company into the ground by putting a puppet in charge, so it no longer exists today, which is a shame. But, karma, right? So I was given a wonderful exit package at the time that granted me enough time to birth the soul intelligence method. So how it came about was I did a lot of soul searching, right? And prayer and meditation and going within. I had this incredibly powerful meditation where I vividly remember tears streaming down my face. And I was told, you can't go back there. It's like my soul would just shrivel up and die if I had gone back into corporate America. And then the idea of the soul intelligence method came through. I had used a book of charts and a pendulum years ago with a different method. And I was like, so I had sort of a methodology, but it was like I was remembering. And almost like I'm remembering I know how to do something, right? And then the charts came to me. And so I've got a book of about 30 different charts that help me figure out on a mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual level what's blocking somebody from aligning with who they really are.
That is amazing.
So you're like, how did that happen?
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking like that's 5 years ago. And then on your background, you've met Dr. Joe Vitale, you've got John Asaraf, Ryan Tracy, like you've got some big names that you are surrounded around. And it's like, that doesn't just happen out of thin air. Of course, it takes action.
Yes, it does.
But you're talking about like your husband going through something hard and traumatic, for both of you.
Yeah.
And then now you're talking like you get to have
then I wrote
soul
a
intelligence
book.
method. Yes.
Yes.
Book, like
I developed a method. I wrote a book. I work in functional medicine and holistic health, right? So maybe we should talk about what the method is, right? Maybe context, right?
Should. Yes.
Okay. So basically, the method is founded in science, all right? It's the science of bioenergetics. And to me, it's common sense. But bioenergetics has been around since the 1950s. Dr. Alexander Lowen is the one who actually documented it. But basically what it says is when something is wrong physically, typically mentally and emotionally, there's a correlation. And so common sense says, oh, physically you're not doing great, mentally, emotionally, you're probably not doing so hot, and vice versa. Okay, that's what bioenergetics is. It's basically talking about us, right, as a being. And I think one of the challenges for most people is we forget that even in third grade science class, we learned we were protons, neutrons, and electrons vibrating in an electromagnetic field. We're made mostly of water. We have electricity running through our bodies, right? We are energy, but because we're physical, we're corporal, we forget that, right? Like how people can just, download information from something called 5G they can't see. You and I are seeing each other over the internet, something, through Zoom. It's an energy transfer. There's no other way to explain it. People are like, well, I don't understand. I don't understand how energy can get trapped in your body. I'm like, okay, well, that's seriously what it's all about. But when we're now hearing... Like even Einstein said, the future of medicine is vibration and frequency. We are all vibration and frequency. That's it. That's all there is. So when energy gets trapped, it gets stuck, okay? It's no longer in motion. Energy in motion is what emotion is. Emotion is energy in motion. When energy is no longer in motion, it gets stuck, it pools, it gets trapped in the physical body. That's when it causes dis-ease or dysfunction or dissonance in your frequency. You got to go see the doctor, right? But everything starts on the inside, right? So whether it's your mental body we're talking about or your emotional body or your physical body, by the time something manifests in the physical, it's been in there a while.
That is key. I'm like thinking of a whole bunch of other things because like even something as simple as a cold, people are like, I just got the cold. No, you didn't. You got it about 2 weeks prior to actually feeling it. You just didn't recognize that you were getting tired. You didn't recognize that your body was trying to slow down. At least that's for me what I've noticed. I'm like, there's like a 2 week before I get sick that I've noticed like different symptoms show up first. So you're absolutely right on that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah. So like when you think about it, so we'll talk about a cold. Cold is mental confusion. So if you think about what was kind of going on and what was going on, I mean, it's mental confusion and you're trying to slow down, Sometimes it's something as simple as, oh man, I woke up with this pain in the neck on my right side. Well, the right side of the body's male. The neck is inflexibility. Okay, so Is it your husband? Is it your boyfriend? Is it your boss? Like it can be small things to something that's more chronic. And so I work in the field of functional medicine, okay, where we treat the whole person and we use lots of different methods, which is called holistic healing. All right. And when we're talking about vibration, we're typically talking about quantum healing. We're talking about moving energy in the quantum field, right? Now, the way that works, because I'm really good at trying to speak very plainly about complex concepts, okay? The electric part of the electromagnetic field, that's spark, that's the masculine spark, that's the idea, the instinct, the intuition that, something's got to create the spark in the field.
Yes.
But what, right? Okay, but what collapses the particle wave and brings things into form, brings things into manifestation, brings things into you is emotion. That's the magnetic part of the field. That's why, to quote, we were talking about The Secret before we jumped on here, and I'll explain why in a minute. But that's why The Secret was a great start, but it talked about affirmations, right?
Yes,
and it was
did.
really only talking about what we say, not necessarily what we feel. So if what you say and what you feel do not match, your subconscious mind, where 90% of 95% of all activity happens, will not bring it into form because you don't believe it, you don't feel it.
Exactly. You're talking my language all day long. I love this.
Yay! All right. So the reason I bring up The Secret is you asked about all these incredible people that I have the privilege of knowing and being by.
Yes. They're on my list of who I want to be around. I'm just saying. And then you add Les Brown to it, add a few other people to it. And I'm like, I see it and I feel it. I'm just like, what am I missing to get there?
Just other light workers, baby. We're all coming together.
That's a blessing. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's a blessing.
It's happening.
More. Yes.
It's definitely happening. Well, I am a part of a movie called The Pillars of Power, which is a Los Angeles Tribune film. And it is coming out towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. And it is an anniversary, a 20-year anniversary of The Secret. So some of the original cast members who you've mentioned, and as well as, transformational specialists like myself today are coming together to talk about how do you really manifest the life that you want to live in all the pillars of your life, whether that's wealth or health or success, all of those different facets.
I love that. I'm excited for the movie that's coming out. Do you know, I know you said it's early next year. Do you know, about what month? Possibly?
It should be towards the beginning of the year. We're trying to make sure that it comes out around, so we hit all the festivals and things like that from a promotional standpoint. But yeah, my life has been dramatically changed in the last 5 years.
That's what I'm like. That's awesome.
Yes, I wrote a book called Healing Through Soul Intelligence, which has a whole bunch of collection of stories of all of the healthcare practitioners who I've helped, because I'm a master healer to healers, right? And all of their patients and clients that I've helped, and how much the method has had an impact. So there's tons of cool stories in there. It also goes into explaining what the soul intelligence method is and how all this works.
I love that. So now I'm just thinking in all of this.
Yes.
So the quantum physics side, if I understood correctly, is more of the energy, the vibrational side of it versus the holistic healing where you're looking more at the person and the 3D world of there's the physical body, there's mental, emotional, spiritual, all of that. If I'm understanding correctly on the differences between the two.
Yeah, if you talk, we talk about holistic healing, we're talking about healing the whole person. So we want to heal the person mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, ultimately, energetically, right? It's the whole thing. And so using energy healing, right? Quantum physics as part of that is one of the ways in which you do that, right? So 90 to 95% of the visits that most doctors today see are for chronic conditions, things that just won't heal. Right.
Yes,
so people keep coming back. Right. And so that's mostly because we haven't gotten to the underlying root cause. What emotion is stuck in there? What old patterns? What old traumas is the body still holding on to? And even though we think we've worked on stuff, right? The whole journey here is all about the process, right? Even when you think you've hit it, you're like, yeah, I totally worked on that. I have to do that again. It comes up and you're like, new
Yeah.
level of awareness, right? Isn't it fantastic? I'm
Definitely.
like, we signed up to be here, right?
Definitely, because now I'm thinking, I'm like, you're exactly where I'm at right now. I'm like, I thought I'd gone through this test once. I thought I passed it. Now it's come back again, and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to learn that I did not learn before from the first time I had the test?
I hear you. I hear you. So
It's a blessing though in itself.
it's always a deeper level of understanding, right? We're reaching new levels of awareness and understanding. And sometimes the universe puts that same situation in front of you again, just to make sure you don't revert, right? We're about to, I don't know if you pay attention to energetic or astrologically what's going on. I'm not an astrologer myself, but I do pay attention to kind of what energies are changing and shifting. And I know in the month of July, we're going to have like 3 different planets go retrograde. And anytime a planet appears to go backwards, we're supposed to review, revisit, and go over stuff. So it's like an ultimate test of, did you really move on? Is this really done for you? And it just depends on where you are in your growth and your level of ascension.
I would agree with you because I'm thinking like people have talked about the Mercury retrograde
Coming up,
and different
July
things.
17th. Mark your calendars, people.
Well, because I know like the full moon, like I don't get into like the astrology stuff so much. Well, I don't. All I understand is that the moon is powerful enough that the Bible talks about the moon and like, but people being scared about it for being when we had solar eclipses back then. But it's like it makes sense because the moon is so powerful that it can move ocean waves. It moves everything. That's like when I was in healthcare where doing nurse aid work. That's when the most amount of people either died or even healthcare today, the most amount of people, they're crazy. Like they go loony. That's the reason why they call it like the loony during
Lunar
that time.
eclipse.
Yes, it's because
it's
of
true.
the moon.
Yeah,
I mean,
it controls.
My kids are proof of that too.
It does control the tides. It controls a lot of things. Yeah. And so a full moon will be coming up next week, I think, around the 10th or so. But I do pay attention to that stuff for good reason. And so you were in healthcare. The other thing that amplifies a full moon is parasite activity in the body.
Really?
Yep. Parasites feel that energy and they start going a little bit nuttier. So we have to deal with like a paracleanse and, kind of work those things out of somebody's body.
I never would have thought about that part of it. But I mean, like, I know that I've seen more ads on Instagram for about like there's parasites in the body and all that. And I'm like, I don't know how much, like, it's hard to know what's true and what's not on some of those things that come up. But it's like, I'm assuming that there's a lot of parasites that are within us that should not be there just because we're human and we get it from our environment is what
and the food we eat and that kind of stuff. Well, basically, so our stomach, our gut, a lot of places, like when functional medicine really, like a functional medicine doctor starts working with you, a lot of times they will start with the gut. Even Hippocrates said that's, where all health begins and ends in the gut. And if you think about it, that's where most stuff starts, right? And the gut itself, you've got good bugs in there and you got bad bugs in there. Okay, the bad bugs would be parasites or candida, things like that. Good bugs, right? We want like the biotics in there. We want some good bugs put back in. So there's a way to kind of heal and seal your gut, then remove the bad bugs and then put good bugs back in so that your body can function. But the reason why I really believe that it all starts and ends in the gut is because that's the core of who we are. Your stomach, your solar plexus is your self-esteem, how you show up in the world, your self-image, like, that Leo sun, that's always right there in the core of your body. Well, your stomach has 2 major functions. It's to process food, like hold food and process food. It's also where you store emotions or process emotions or don't. And so that is one of the reasons why that is such a huge part of healing ourselves in the physical, because most things start right there in the gut center.
And I'm thinking
Think about relationships. Life is all about relationships. The relationship with yourself,
Yes.
the relationship with other people. And of course, think about it. Like you're really upset, or you're really nervous. You get the butterflies in the stomach.
Yes, you do.
Right? Okay.
So that's sort of like thinking of all the other stuff too. I'm like, it really does. Cause like even trauma
Or
is
something bad happens. You feel like you're punched in the gut. Like it literally hits you right there. Right there. That's why.
It does every single time. But no, that makes a lot of sense because I'm like stopping and thinking about all the stuff that I know about the solar plexus, about how much it holds, because that's like the creativity as well. Like that's just like everything at that core. And then it also makes sense because like even having physical therapy, they're like, you got to have your core strong, because if you don't have a strong core, your back goes out.
It's literally
like it holds everything, like the glue.
The core of who you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it. It's so wild when you start looking at the different layers, right? Like your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, the spiritual body. But again, it's all energy, and Dr. David Hawkins, measured emotions. So when I begin a session, I'll measure where somebody is on, emotionally on the scales of consciousness. And then I'll also measure at the end of the session, just so we can see the progression and the movement. What's interesting is that, fear vibrates very low, but what's lower than fear? Guilt, shame, perfectionism. So you want to pull yourself like down quickly, start comparing yourself to somebody else or this unrealistic ideal. What vibrates higher, right, is all of what you expect: love and peace and joy. That's why laughter can shift your vibe like immediately and send you to the top of the scale. If you don't believe me, you've probably read about all these experiments where you yell at a plant, you tell it all kinds of nasty stuff, and it shrivels, right? Or you're just like loving on it and it blooms, So it is all energy. We are all energy. And everything is. It's just how much it's vibrating. If it's densely vibrating, we see it, feel it, it's tangible. If it's vibrating really, really fast, like the energy waves that are allowing me to see you right now, you just can't see it. It's just how it works.
I love that. I love this because I'm like thinking, like, for me, I have one son that's on the autism spectrum, and he wants to be a farmer. So I'm moving him in the direction of being a farmer. And I've told him purposely with the plants, I'm like, every time you go water them, you need to tell them how beautiful they are, that you love them, that you're expecting beautiful, good fruit and vegetables off of them. Like, I've been telling them that because I'm like, then it will happen. I'm like, the food tastes different.
It does.
Like, it's because
you infuse it with love, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I'm Italian. Come on. When I'm cooking, I'm throwing the love in the food because I want everybody to enjoy it, right? It does taste different. You're literally shifting the vibration. And we have the ability to do that in our daily lives, right? Just being that light bringer, being that lighthouse and shining your light out and sharing your love and your gifts with people.
Yeah, we definitely do. And I love this conversation that we're having because it's one that a lot of people need to hear. I'm just saying. And then they also need to understand it's like we're attracting all the stuff. So like when you said about the shame, the guilt, the that was lower than fear. I'm trying to remember the other emotion right now.
Perfectionism, I think I said to you. Yeah.
Yes. And so when we're in those states, it does make sense because the body is trapped then. It's like it can't escape. So then trying to break free from that, what would you recommend if people are trying to do it on their own? Because for me, I've only seen it being done through hypnosis and NLP, like what I do for helping people with. And so I'm thinking there's no way to really release that quick.
Well, my soul intelligence method can do it.
Well, that's what I was thinking because I'm like, how would you do it
pretty quickly? Yeah. But I mean, you can be, some emotions are more difficult than others to shift, right? And they're layered in. And sometimes there's a reason for that. There could be trauma that's been experienced that the person hasn't processed fully and can't let go of. There could be an underlying pattern. There could be a self-limiting belief in there that they're not meant to be happy, or they're not enough no matter what they do. Like there's lots of those. My charts have negative energies, emotions, and thoughts, toxic masculine and feminine energy. I have over 100 different archetypes or patterns that could show for someone. Things like then looking at the body systems, and where are we holding that energy in the body so that we shift it up and out of the body. So my sessions are the coolest thing, I think, just personally, is all you have to do is show up to a Zoom. That's it. And receive. Okay. So in terms of compliance, that's it. You just got to show, and then I can work with people. And so I actually am launching a brand new membership program where I'm going to be doing 2 group sessions a month so that it's on the topic of self, health, wealth, and relationships, which I'm pretty jazzed about. I know, right? All the key areas. And also opening up a limited opportunity for one-on-ones with me. I do have I think 3 spots that I could devote, but I'm excited about a membership program. And if anyone out there is a healer that is interested in learning the method, what I'm really called to do is to teach other people this method. And I actually have my course online that's available for anybody that is interested in wanting to take it. And I think I'm going to be doing that, doing a guided, right now it's evergreen, meaning you could take it at any time. And I think I'm going to be doing it guided in the fall again, for people to really move through the program in like a 90-day accelerated container. Because I want more people to know the method, use the method, and help more people. I want to see this in wellness centers across the country. That's really my dream.
That's awesome. Because I would agree with you. If we had more people that would take something like this and really help people versus the sick care system, that'd be great. So,
yes.
And that's what I was thinking too, is for your book now, because I'm thinking like all the charts, is that in the Soul Intelligence? That's not the name of the book. It's Healing for the Soul, isn't it?
My book is called Healing Through Soul Intelligence.
Okay.
Here's my book.
Awesome. It's beautiful.
It's me. And it is on Amazon. It's also on Audible. It's also on Kindle, and it's on Barnes and Noble. So it's available widely everywhere. And I'm really proud. I was just named Book of the Year by Best Holistic Life magazine, which is very exciting. I know.
Congrats.
And it's an LA Tribune bestseller as well, which is really exciting.
That is very exciting.
Yeah, so I hope everybody will consider getting a copy. And if anybody's interested in working with me or finding out more about my programs or wanting to see what this is all about, they can go to my website at soulintelligencemethod.com. It's soulintelligencemethod.com. You can sign up for my email list. And I do a free group session the first Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. Eastern. So if anybody's interested in actually experiencing the work firsthand, they'll get a chance to do that the first Wednesday of every month. They just have to go to my website and sign up for my newsletter and sign up to be a part of the sessions.
Awesome. I love that because I've got quite a few people. I was just on a podcast on Sunday this week, and I'm like, okay, they'd ask me some questions. I'm like, well, I really don't know. But now that I know you, I'm like, now I can send you to them.
Yay!
I'm like, that's the beauty of this. That's why I'm like, I love this. So I'm so happy that you have shared how our audience can get in contact with you, especially with the free offering that you have as well. Where can people find you on social media then?
Well, my name, Kristine Genovese. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn and Insta. I even have a TikTok now and a YouTube channel. So I'm pretty much out there. Just if you Google me, you'll probably find me.
More spots for me to take and go stalk. Go.
Yes, I know, right? I do have a lot of really cool tools on my website that are available for people as well.
Awesome. I just love this. I love this conversation. I'm sure our audience did as well. Be sure to share Healing for the Soul podcast with everybody that you know. And I encourage you to follow me, Robin Stoltman, on social media, and my guest, Kristine Genovese, as well, across the socials. Make sure you get her book, because I know I'm going to be one of them that's going to get it.
Yay!
I'm just saying. So I want to thank you, Kristine, and everyone who has listened and tuned in to Healing for the Soul podcast today. And go out there and share, like, and subscribe for more. And then also follow Kristine Genovese on social media. Thank you.
Quack, quack. Bye, bye. Wow, next time. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.